Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Welcome to today's weekly Dhikr. I hope everybody is well, wherever you are tuning this into, where are you tuning into this from? Alhamdulillah, alhamdulillah. Sorry, I'm a strange time today. I said we'd start at 6:05. I have another meeting I'm supposed to be in at 7 o'clock, but if we overlap, we overlap. It's the remembrance of Allah and our worship is something that takes priority over many other things. That doesn't mean it takes priority over everything. I mean, if you've got an emergency situation you have to address, then at times you have to address that before you get involved in doing some zikr or something. But aside from that, I mean, we should give it a certain priority, because this is our connection with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that we cultivate here. And a spiritual connection with the Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him, through our teachers. So it's important that we give priority to that and don't just, put things off. Because I know a lot of people, they will do like a dhikr or a mawlid, and they might do it for a few weeks and then they get distracted by something else. And those are the things take priority. And when I say this, I include myself in it just as much as anybody else, because it's happened to me in the past. Alhamdulillah, for nearly a year, I've been able to do these online zikrs, and although occasionally the time might alter slightly due to other things, other commitments that I have, I've managed to be able to do them every Thursday evening. But we all have different things happening in our lives. So sometimes it's not always possible for people to do that. But we should try to prioritize these things. Just like we prioritize our salah, or we should prioritize our salah, we should give some priority to other religious activities, spiritual activities, which help and benefit us. This is the spiritual training. If we don't do that and we put everything off, then how are we going to proceed and how are we going to make progress? Progress comes from practice, something which is done constantly. And that's a very good point, constantly. When my first sheikh was sent over here by Zindapir, may Allah accept and bless his soul, he was sent here to look after the Muslims that are in this country, or look after those who came to him, and to disseminate the teachings and practices of Islam within his community. And he was sent to do this by his Sheikh Zindapir. But I once heard from the Khalifa of Sufi Abdullah, who'd been with him for a long time. And he said that when Sufi Abdullah first started doing zikr, that he only had himself in the room sometimes, in that house on Durham Road. And sometimes it would just be himself doing the zikr, and people were not joining him. At other times, maybe 1 or 2 people would join him, but not many people would come. And he spoke to Zindapir about this and said, you know, I'm doing the zikr as you asked me to do every week, but people are not coming. And then Zindapir, in response, asked him, were you not there? And Sufi Abdullah says, yes, of course I was there. He says, then you were there. You were doing the zikr. So it's not that no one was doing it. And there's a wisdom in this. You know, often in today's world, people tend to look at what other people are doing. People have become slaves to fashion or trends or internet memes now, whatever happens to be going around at the given time. And people become slaves to these things. Maybe they don't realize it. But if you follow something constantly and you keep being attracted to it and it affects your behavior, then you are serving that thing. Now, you can either serve something which is truly beneficial and good for you, or you can serve something which has no purpose and no benefit, or may even be harming you and other people. And today, a lot of people, you know, you see it on like TikTok and Instagram. And I'm not against any of these social media platforms. I'm not saying that that's necessarily wrong, because any of these social media platforms can be used for good or bad, or not necessarily bad, but just a waste of time as well. And we all need some time to relax. So I'm not saying that we shouldn't do that. But what I am saying is that there is, in our time, all these different social media out there. And on these social media, you get trends. Various things go around that, you know, somebody makes a cool video and everybody wants to copy that. And the people who copy that, they become popular on that social media platform. No, that's not necessarily bad. It's not necessarily wrong. I mean, it depends what they're copying. Some of these things are just harmless fun. But at the same time, if we just act on something like that without thinking about what we're doing, then we're not really in control of ourselves. We're just doing something because it happens to be a trend on TikTok or Instagram or Snapchat. It's something that's going around and we're just copying it. And if we do that all the time when something comes around, or when some new fashion comes out or some new device, we're the first in line to go and buy it without thinking it through, whether it's actually going to be any better than, you know, the clothes we've already got, or the devices that we've already got, whether it really is an improvement, or whether we can hold off for another 6 months or a year, because the current devices that we got are already serving our purposes. If we do that constantly, we are serving consumerism. We are simply serving trends that are going around that in many cases serve no purpose. And this is taking up our time. And many people do this without really considering what they're doing or the amount of time which they are giving to these trends, or the amount of money, if it's products that are in the shops, that they are spending to just keep up with various trends. And surely, if we are thinking human beings, if we are the intelligent creatures that many of us take ourselves for, we should at some point take a step back and think about how we are spending our time and how we are spending our money. There is a tradition within Islam, especially emphasized within Sufism, but it is within Islam across the board. When we're doing something, we should do it with constancy. Rather than, doing a bit here and a bit there, forgetting about it for months on end and then doing it again. But something which actually we commit to and do on a regular basis. You look at our salah. Why are our salah every day? And why are our salah, our daily prayers, at various points during the day? Many people are taught this. If they come from a traditional Muslim community, they'll be taught this in madrasa as children. That, you've got fajr before dawn in the morning, and you've got your midday prayer, and you've got your mid-afternoon prayer, and you've got your dusk prayer, and then you've got your nighttime prayers. And also, if you're especially diligent and devoted, you may do a few other kinds of prayers, which are, after Fajr, for instance, after the sun rises, you might read another prayer. Or, during the middle of the night, between Isha and Fajr, you might read another prayer. Different people will practice these extra prayers to whatever degree, but they are within our tradition. But why these prayers are there every day? And why are they there at different points during the day? See, we're taught in madrasa that we have these prayers. But how many people have had a think and reflected upon why do we have these prayers? Why do we have these prayers? And why do we have them at regular intervals? And the reason, or at least one of the reasons, obviously there's different layers of meaning and wisdoms in these things. But one of the wisdoms is because it's something we do constantly, which then helps us to develop this characteristic of constancy, that we are regular in what we are doing, that we stick to the path that we're on, and we keep building on it, taking steps forward, rather than slipping back and losing the progress that we have made. So this is why we have the Friday prayer every Friday. And we are especially encouraged to attend Jummah prayers under normal circumstances. Obviously, with the lockdowns, sometimes people have had to read at home because of the situation that we're in. But under normal circumstances, we would have these Friday prayers every week. And every Thursday evening, those of us who are in various Sufi tariqas, we have a evening of a Sohbet, a spiritual conversation, and a Dhikr, a meditation, remembering Allah. And we do this every Thursday. Why every Thursday evening? Because at Maghrib, on the Thursday evening, the Friday starts. According to the Islamic calendar, the days start at dusk, what we would think of as the same day within the Western calendar. So when it comes to dusk, instead of midnight, it becomes the following day on the Hijri calendar. So that's why we do the zikr on a Thursday evening, because the Thursday evening is actually Jummah. Right now, here in the UK, as I'm talking to you, it's after Maghrib, and it's actually Jummah now. As we get closer to summer, I might end up doing it actually on a Thursday evening, because we have very long days in the UK. So I have to adjust things during the summer months and do the dhikr at Asr time, just before Maghrib. But this is the reason why we have this, and why we do it every week. It helps to train us and develop that constancy where we are developing taqwa, a consciousness of Allah, a consciousness of God, every day of our life, every week of our life. And we believe as Muslims that taqwa, which is translated as consciousness of God, is also consciousness of reality. So we're not daydreaming when we're doing this dhikr and meditation. We're not just chanting. We're not just daydreaming. We're not just being spiritual, as some people might think, which is a very fluffy kind of understanding of what spirituality is, rather than what spirituality actually is. Real spirituality is about transforming yourself. It's about raising your consciousness above your base level, or your animalistic instincts, your negative thinking and things like this, rising above that, raising your consciousness to a level which becomes aware of the oneness of everything, where you become aware that you are not separate from the other person who is standing in front of you, that you are not separate from the world that you live upon, that you are not separate from all of the other living creatures that we share this planet with. And you're not separate even from the other planets and everything else that we share this cosmos, this universe with. It's developing that consciousness of reality and feeling how much you and I are all a part of that reality. So we're not separate. And this is the Sufi concept of Tawheed. But Tawheed, it's not just saying God is one, but it's, if God is one, and everyone that exists comes from God, then really all is one. And this is an important consciousness to develop, because if we understand this, that all are one, that the reality is oneness, we would solve a lot of our problems. How can you be selfish if you truly understand the concept of oneness? You know the person that you are depriving through your selfishness is also connected to you, and you are harming yourself. How can you be selfish? How can you be racist if you know the other person who's standing in front of you, who many people might perceive as being of a different race to yourself, is in fact at one with you, and you are at one with him or her? How can you be sexist if you realize that male and female are two different aspects of human nature, and that we are all human beings? We are all part of the same human family, that we are all one. How can you even be cruel to the animals if you understand that we're all part of the circle of life, and all of those animals are the creation of Allah, and Allah loves all of those animals, and all those animals are part of this creation with us, and we're all sharing as a part of this? It means that our whole consciousness develops into something quite different. And if we had more of that consciousness in this world, how many of our problems would be solved? How many issues would we strive to solve? Because we would realize that we have to work through these things together, and not by depriving anyone else or any other creatures, or at least doing our utmost not to cause oppression or deprive any other creatures of their rights and entitlements, because we are all one. We are all part of the creation of Allah. Allah loves all of us. So how can we do anything bad to anyone or any other creature, or even the trees? Even how we engage with the earth, we have to do it in a compassionate way. This is real spirituality. And it's not saying that we just become more dreamy, like some people misunderstand spirituality. That's very real. Changes your whole outlook on life, that you become a much more positive person, God willing. But to get to that point, we need to do something regularly, with constancy. If we just do something because, oh, that seemed like fun to do, we'll do it today, and then we don't do it for another 3 weeks, then we plan to do it in 3 weeks' time, but then we get busy, so we put it off for another month or two, it'll never happen. And this lesson goes into other aspects of our lives as well, because if we learn to keep to something constantly and practice this constancy in our faith, then it also comes into everything else that we do. It develops our reliability. Anyway, I do have another session that I need to be going on with after this. So what I will do is I will go into the Dhikr now. Was there any questions? Before we go into the Dhikr, we check our intentions. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم نويت ذهبي نويت الرسل نويت الهوى نويت الاعتكاف نويت السلوك نويت الرياضة لله تعالى في هذا جميع. We begin with the declaration of faith in Arabic. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله. We seek Allah's forgiveness by reciting Astaghfirullah. Astaghfirullah, 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 Astaghfirullah. أستغفر الذي ردي لا إله إلا هو الحي القيوم وأتوب عليه إنه هو التواب الرحيم يا مسبب الأسباب يا مفاتيح الأبواب يا مقلب القلوب والأبصار يا دلائل المتخير يا غيث المستغيث يا حي يا قيوم يا ذو الجلال والإكرام وأفوض أمري الله إن الله بصيرا بالعباد الرابط الشريفة. Direct your heart to the heart of your sheikh, your spiritual teacher. Fatiha Sharif. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen Ar-Rahmanir Rahim Maliki Yawmiddin Iyyaka na'budu wa iyyaka nasta'in Ihdina as-siratal mustaqim Siratal ladzina an'amta 'alaihim ghayril maghdubi 'alaihim waladdallin. Amin. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen Ar-Rahmanir Rahim Maliki Yawmiddin إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين آمين. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين آمين. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين آمين. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين آمين. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين آمين. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين آمين. صلوات الشريفة. اللهم صل على محمد وعلى آل محمد وسلم. 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 بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. ألم نشرح لك صدرك ووضعنا وزرك الذي أنقض ظهرك ورفعنا لك ذكرك فإن مع العسر يسرا إن مع العسر يسرا فإذا فرغت فانصب وإلى ربك فارغب. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. ألم نشرح لك صدرك ووضعنا وزرك الذي أنقض ظهرك ورفعنا لك ذكرك فإن مع العسر يسرا إن مع العسر يسرا فإذا فرغت فانصب وإلى ربك فارغب. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. ألم نشرح لك صدرك ووضعنا عنك وزرك الذي أنقض ظهرك ورفعنا لك ذكرك فإن مع العسر يسرا إن مع العسر يسرا فإذا فرغت فانصب وإلى ربك فارغب. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. ألم نشرح لك صدرك ووضعنا عنك وزرك الذي أنقض ظهرك ورفعنا لك ذكرك وإن مع العسر يسرا إن مع العسر يسرا فإذا فرغت فانصب وإلى ربك فارغب. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. ألم نشرح لك صدرك ووضعنا عنك وزرك الذي أنقض ظهرك ورفعنا لك ذكرك فإن مع العسر يسرا إن مع العسر يسرا فإذا فرغت فانصب وإلى ربك فارغب. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. ألم نشرح لك صدرك ووضعنا عنك وزرك الذي أنقض ظهرك ورفعنا لك ذكرك فإن مع العسر يسرا إن مع العسر يسرا فإذا فرغت فانصب وإلى ربك فارغب. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم ألم نشرح لك صدرك ووضعنا عنك وزرك الذي أنقض ظهرك ورفعنا لك ذكرك فإن مع العسر يسرا إن مع العسر يسرا فإذا فرغت فانصب وإلى ربك فارغب بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم قل هو الله أحد الله الصمد لم يلد ولم يولد ولم يكن له كفوا أحد بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم قل هو الله أحد الله الصمد لم يلد ولم يولد ولم يكن له كفوا أحد بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم قل هو الله أحد الله الصمد لم يلد ولم يولد ولم يكن له كفوا أحد بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم قل هو الله أحد الله الصمد لم يلد ولم يولد ولم يكن له كفوا أحد بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم قل هو الله أحد الله الصمد لم يلد ولم يولد ولم يكن له كفوا أحد بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم قل هو الله أحد الله الصمد لم يلد ولم يولد ولم يكن له كفوا أحد بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم قل هو الله أحد الله الصمد لم يلد ولم يولد ولم يكن له كفوا أحد بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم قل هو الله أحد الله الصمد لم يلد ولم يولد ولم يكن له كفوا أحد بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم قل هو الله أحد الله الصمد لم يلد ولم يولد ولم يكن له كفوا أحد بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم قل هو الله أحد الله الصمد لم يلد ولم يولد ولم يكن له كفوا أحد بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم قل هو الله أحد الله الصمد لم يلد ولم يولد ولم يكن له كفوا أحد بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين آمين بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين آمين بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين آمين بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين آمين بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين آمين بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين آمين بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم
مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين آمين. صلوات الشيخ. اللهم صل على محمد وعلى آل محمد وسلم. 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 أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. ربي قد اتيتني من الملك ورمتني من سوء حديث فطير السماوات والأرض أنت وليه في الدنيا والآخرة توفاني مسلما ولكني بالصالحين أمانا بالله صدق الله العظيم. سبحانك ربك ربي ذاتي ما يصفون وسلام على المرسلين والحمد لله رب العالمين. إلى شرف نبي صلى الله عليه وسلم وآله وأصحابه الكرام وإلى وحي أنبيائه والمرسلين وخدماء الشرعين وإلى إمامة أبوه وإلى مشايخنا في تركة نقشبندية عالية خاصة إلى آلف وجدان الفاتحة. صراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. Fundamentally, there is no God but God. La ilaha illallah, 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 la ilaha illallah. لا إله إلا الله 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 La ilaha illallah, 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 Muhammadur Rasulullah, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Hasbunallahu wa ni'mal wakeel, wa la hawla wa la quwwata illa billahi al-aliyyil azim. Illa sharafi nabi wa ali wa ashabihi kiram. وإلى أواخي صيب سرتنا وصدقيون الفاتحة صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم. The remembrance of God. In Arabic, Allah. Allah just means the God in Arabic. Same God. Different language. Allah, 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 Allah. Bismillah. God is with us. In Arabic, we would say Allahu, Allahu, which means Allah is with us. So we meditate on who, we meditate on the presence of God, constantly with us, whether we realize it or not. Who? 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 حسبنا ونعم الوكيل ولا قوة إلا بالله العلي العظيم. God is the ultimate truth. In Arabic, haq, 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 haq. Allah is the ever-living. In Arabic, hay, 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 hey, 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 hey. حسبنا الله ونعم الوكيل ولا قوة إلا بالله العلي العظيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الله الله حق 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 الله الله hey الله الله hey الله الله hey الله Allah hey Allahu Allah hey Allahu Allah hey Allahu Allah hey Allahu Allah hey Allahu, Allah, hey, Allahu, Allah, hey, Allahu, Allah, hey, Allahu, Allah, hey, Allah, hey, Ya Qayyum, 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 Allah, hey, Ya Qayyum. حسبنا ونعم الوكيل حسبنا ونعم الوكيل ولا قوة إلا بالله العلي العظيم. Calling on the beautiful names of Allah. Yahu, Yahu, Ya Rahim. Yahu, Yahu, Ya Rahim. Yahu, Yahu, Ya Rahim. Allah, Yahu, Ya Rahim. Ya Daim, Ya Daim, Ya Daim, Ya Allah. Ya Daim, Ya Daim, Ya Daim, Ya Allah. Ya Halim, Ya Halim, Ya Halim, Ya Allah. Ya Halim, Ya Halim, Ya Halim, Ya Allah, Ya Hafiz, Ya Hafiz, Ya Hafiz, Ya Allah, Ya Hafiz, Ya Hafiz, Ya Hafiz, Ya Allah, Ya Latif, Ya Latif, Ya Latif, Ya Allah, Ya Latif, Ya Latif, Ya Latif, Ya Allah, Ya Ghaffar, Ya Ghafur, Ya Ghaffar, Ya Ghafur, Ya Ghaffar, Ya Ghafur, Ya Ghaffar, Ya Ghafur, Ya Sattar, Ya Fatah, Ya Sattar, Ya Fatah, Ya Sattar, Ya Fatah, Ya Sattar, Ya Fatah. Ya Mujib, Ya Mujib, Ya Mujib, Ya Allah. Ya Mujib, Ya Mujib, Ya Mujib, Ya Allah. Ya Mu'in, Ya Mu'in, Ya Mu'in, Ya Allah. Bismillah. Ya Mu'in, Ya Mu'in, Ya Mu'in, Ya Allah. Ya Mughith, Ya Mughith, Ya Mughith, Ya Allah. Ya Mughith, Ya Mughith, Ya Mughith, Ya Allah. Ya Wadud, Ya Wadud, Ya Wadud, Ya Allah. Ya Wadud, Ya Wadud, Ya Wadud, Ya Allah. Ya Rahman, Ya Rahim, Ya Rahman, Ya Rahim. Ya Rahman, Ya Rahim, Ya Rahman, Ya Rahim, Ya Rahim, Ya Karim, Ya Rahim, Ya Karim, Ya Rahim, Ya Karim, Ya Rahim, Ya Karim. Ya Hanan, Ya Hanan, Ya Hanan, Ya Allah. Ya Hanan, Ya Hanan, Ya Hanan, Ya Allah. Ya Manan, Ya Manan, Ya Manan, Ya Allah. Ya Manan, Ya Manan, Ya Manan, Ya Allah. Ya Dayyan, Ya Subhan, Ya Dayyan, Ya Subhan, Ya Dayyan, Ya Subhan, Ya Dayyan, Ya Subhan. Ya Subhan, Ya Sultan, Ya Subhan, Ya Sultan, Ya Subhan, Ya Sultan, Ya Subhan, Ya Sultan, Ya Sultan, Ya Sultan, Ya Sultan, Ya Allah, Ya Sultan, Ya Sultan, Ya Sultan, Ya Allah. Ya Salam, Ya Salam, Ya Salam, Ya Allah. Ya Salam, Ya Salam, Ya Salam, Ya Allah. Ya Aman, Ya Aman, Ya Aman, Ya Allah. Ya Aman, Ya Aman, Ya Aman, Ya Allah. Ya Allah, 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 Ya Allah. Hasbunallahu wa ni'mal wakeel, wallahu quwwata illa billahi al-azim. Salawatu Shifa. اللهم صل على محمد وعلى آل محمد وسلم. 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 اللهم صل على اللهم صل على محمد وعلى آل محمد وسلم. 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 صلي ربي وسلم على جميع أنبيائه ومرسلين وعلى كل أجمعين والحمد لله رب العالمين. على أشرف من سيدنا محمد الصلوات، على أفضل من سيدنا محمد الصلوات، على أكمل من سيدنا محمد الصلوات، صلوات الله وبركاته وأنبيائه ورسوله وجميع خلقه على محمد وعلى آل محمد عليه وعليهم السلام ورحمة الله وبركاته. وليراه تبارك وتعالى أن سنتينا شاب رسول الله أجمعين ونتبينا بهم بإحسان ونمجتدين يوم الدين ولعلماء متقين ولأولياء صالحين ومسياكين بتركة نقشبندية آلية كنسلم ترهم الزكية ونور أدرات مباركة ولله تعالى من بركاتهم وفيوداتهم دائما والحمد لله رب العالمين. الفاتحة. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين. إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين. اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين آمين. اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد وعلى آل سيدنا محمد وبارك وسلم. اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد وعلى آل سيدنا محمد وبارك وسلم. اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد وعلى آل سيدنا محمد وبارك وسلم. O Allah, shower your blessings upon the Holy Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and his noble family, upon all of the previous prophets and their noble families, upon the household of the Prophet Muhammad, especially Imams Ali, Hassan, Hussein, Zain al-Abidin, Jafar al-Sadiq, all of the holy household of the Prophet Muhammad, and bless the noble and righteous companions of the Prophet Muhammad, and the scholars, also the Khilafa Rashideen and the saints, and especially my sheikhs, Sufi Abdullah and Mulana Sheikh Nazim. Ya Allah, raise their stations in your divine presence and bless their souls for all eternity. O Allah, shower your blessings also on Sheikh Sharif Hidayatullah, also known as Sunan Gunanjati, all of the Wali Songo, Sheikh Yusuf in South Africa, Sheikh Adang Badruddin of Chipulus, and also my beloved father of Redditch. O Allah, shower your blessings upon their souls and raise their stations for all eternity. Grant them more lights and blessings. O Allah, shower your blessings also on my mum, my mother-in-law, my father-in-law, and grant them the best of health and well-being, mentally, physically, spiritually. Grant them success in every good thing which they set their hearts and minds to. Forgive them of any mistakes and shortcomings in their lives up until this point. O Allah, grant that they be under your divine guidance and blessings and support at all times. Look after them as they looked after us as small children. O Allah, grant them the best of this life and the best of the hereafter. O Allah, shower your blessings upon my brother and my sister and my brothers and sisters-in-law and all of my nieces and nephews. Grant your divine protection upon them, your blessings, good health, mentally, physically, and spiritually, to be under your guidance and support, to be forgiven for any mistakes and shortcomings that they've made up until this point, and to be granted success in every good thing which they set their hearts and minds to. O Allah, shower your blessings O Allah, shower your blessings upon O Allah, shower your blessings upon my beloved wife and our children, Sophia, Athena, and Elizabeth. And grant your divine protection and blessing and support upon our family in all respects. Grant us forgiveness for any mistakes and sins that we have committed. Grant us to always be under your divine guidance and support, and let us not be misguided after we've been guided. O Allah, grant that my children are always under your divine protection and blessing and guidance. Grant that they may not stray too far from the constructive path, and that they return swiftly to it under your divine help, guidance, and support. O Allah, grant that they may also have connection with the Prophet Muhammad or with the awliya Allah. O Allah, shower your blessings upon our family and grant us success in every good thing which you set our hearts and minds to. Thank you for your manifold blessings, too many blessings, that we cannot thank you in any worthy form for every blessing which you grant us. We are weak ones, Ya Allah, and you are the source of all things. You are the grantor of all gifts. You are the one who has given us even the air we breathe and the lives we live. We want to thank you, but there is no thanks that we can ever give you, which is fitting for this. And we ask your forgiveness for not thinking to thank you more than what we do. Ya Allah, we shouldn't go without a moment in our lives without thanking and appreciating your many blessings. Ya Allah, forgive us for this. Oh Allah, hold my hands and lift me up.
and guide me every step of this road of life that leads back to you, and help me support those who come to me looking for some guidance and support. Oh Allah, shower your blessings upon my friends, especially those friends who've been with me through everything, Ya Allah. Especially Sheikh Robin and Nisha and their families, especially Rafiq and his family, Abid and his family, Sheikh Hisham Kabani and his family, Sheikh Mohammed Adil and his family, Nasa and his family, Dr. Khurshid and his family, Mohammed Abbasi and his family, Devinda and his family, Anu and her family, Sam and his family, Todd and his family, Amran and his family, Abdul Hamid and his family, Abdul Kareem, Ya Allah, bless his soul and raise his station in your divine presence. Ya Allah, Shubir and his family, Ya Allah, bless his soul and raise his station in your divine presence. Bless his family. Bless Muhammad Ishtiaq and his family. Bless Pakihya and his family. Pak Hassan and his family. Pak Savik and his family. Gus Yahya and his family. Gus Yakuls and his family. Gus Dur and his family. Ya Allah, bless his soul for all eternity. And raise his station in your divine presence. Bless Whitney and her family, especially her young baby. Bless Denisa and her family, Hannah and her family, Princess May and her family, Princess Asian and her family. Ya Allah, bless Her Majesty the Queen and her family. Bless Governor Widwan and his family. Bless Pak Diki and his family, Pak Agus and his family, Ida and her family, Adnan and his family. Ya Allah, bless all of my friends. I cannot list them all here. Also bless Asif Shukur and his family. And whatever, any issues, difficulties any of his family members are facing, Ya Allah, grant him your divine support and blessings. For the sake of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Oh Allah, shower your blessings on Pak Adris and his family. And again, any support or any difficulties, Ya Allah, grant him support. And bless Sean and his family, and Johnny and his family. Grant them your divine support and blessings. Ya Allah, bless all of my friends. And however people are connected to me, whether through the Naqshbandi tariqat or the Association of British Muslims, the University of Birmingham chaplaincy, or the many interfaith and interfaith groups and social media that I am part of, however people have a connection with me, Ya Allah, make this as a means of connection between them and my sheikhs, and through my sheikhs and their sheikhs through to the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and through the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam to your divine presence. And make this as a channel through which blessings and guidance and support may flow, and help every single one of them in their lives here and in the next life. And through any difficulties which they are facing, and through any challenges in life which they are facing, and gives them hope and support and blessings. Ya Allah, may all of our souls be connected together, everyone in our human family. Bless all of our souls. May we be all connected by bonds of light and love. And raise the taqwa, consciousness of every single member of our human family, so that we may build a human world within this world which is fitting to be called human, which is fitting to be called civilized, which is fitting to be called just and compassionate. Ya Allah, we are living in times of, in some ways, great blessings, and in other ways, great loss and ignorance, Ya Allah. Ya Allah, we beseech your support and help us through these times, these challenging times. And also grant us relief from this pandemic, Grant us relief from all these restrictions, and grant us support throughout our lives so that we can build our lives up, support our families, but also come out of this keeping taqwa and developing taqwa in our hearts so that we have that consciousness of you in every aspect of our lives. And we never lose that. And open our hearts to love so we have more love of you and more love of the Prophet Muhammad and his noble family and of the awliya Allah. For the sake of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu Allahumma salli ala Sayyidina Muhammadin wa ala ali Sayyidina Muhammadin wa barik wa sallim. Salli ya Rabbi wa sallim ala jami' anbiya wa mursalin wa ala kulli ajma'in wa alhamdulillahi rabbil alamin. الفاتحة بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين إلى حضرات النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم وإلى أنبياء وإلى أولياء قصتني روحي شاه نقشبند وإلى الشيخ عبد الله فيض الدغستاني وإلى زين دبير وإلى الصوفي عبد الله وإلى مولانا الشيخ نازم وإلى مولانا الشيخ هشام كباني وإلى الشيخ دانك بدر الدين وإلى أغسطو وإلى الشيخ بادشاه وإلى الشيخ حبيب الله وإلى الشيخ داود ورسؤين وإلى الشيخ محمد الديل وإلى الشيخ نور كباني وإلا صعيبي سرطين والصديقيون الفاتحة بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. Assalamu alaikum, Asif.
Wa alaikum salam.
How are you?
How are you? Alhamdulillah, Bikaid. How are you?
Alhamdulillah. It's good to see you.
It's nice to see you too. Thanks for the dua as well.
It's something I've been doing a long time. Initially, before I did these video ones, it's something I just did at home every week, or if I could get to the zikr circles, I'd go to the zikr circles. But you know, when the lockdown started last year, then obviously I couldn't attend the zikr circles, and I was doing it at home, but I thought, why not? I didn't really want to do it in front of a camera, you know, but then I thought, you know, people need something, you know, and I know how to read these khatams. I know how to read Sufi Abdullahs. I know how to read Maulana Sheikh Nazim's. So sometimes I read Sufi Abdullahs. I read Maulana Sheikh Nazim's today. And it seems to be helping people. So I just keep on doing it. And I hope it is.
I think it definitely is. I think it's a great thing you're doing, actually. I haven't seen many like this before, so it's very nice. I actually enjoyed it as well. It's difficult because I had recently in the pandemic, I lost almost 4 close members of family. I lost my aunt from my mother's side, my aunt from my dad's side. I also lost my father. I lost an uncle a few days ago, so it's been very hard to get through.
I'm so sorry for your losses. I lost my father in September last year. It wasn't actually COVID that got him. It was a fight. It wasn't the bug that got him, but it was something else that nobody knew about. But obviously, it's been quite a loss for our family. He was a good man.
Sorry to hear that about your father. Sorry to hear that. It's very sad. It's like my father was actually, he had COVID and he had pneumonia. So he went in hospital on, I think Tuesday, and by Monday morning, he had 5:30, he had passed away, he had left. But it's Allah's wish, Allah's choice. It's sad, it's hard to get on with grief. I feel it now because now, you know, it was very hard because for the janazah prayer, many of my relatives couldn't come because of the lockdown, and they couldn't come. And it was a bit difficult because normally relatives gather around your house for condolence. Even that couldn't happen. But you know, alhamdulillah, I was there. I left him at 12:30 a.m. I left him at hospital. I came home, 5:30 we got a call to go back, and my sister took the call and they told us that he's deteriorated. The hospital staff told us he's deteriorated. We went back and he unfortunately passed away. So COVID's not been a great experience. It's been actually quite terrible, but then it's Allah's it's Allah's it's a wabah which Allah has brought, and He will leave inshallah soon, hopefully.
We all have a birth date, and the other date is for sure. Every one of us has it. We don't know when it is. We don't know what will take us. And you know, when we lose loved ones, it's hard. It's a reminder also that you know we don't know when that date will be for any of us. And I hope you live. I hope you have a very long and healthy life. But you know, none of us know. None of us know. There's a tradition within my tariqat that you're not a murid unless you think about death every day.
Yeah, I heard.
And that's whether or not there's COVID going around, you know.
I remember. I think Monarch Nassim mentioned about death. If you remember it, I'm not sure 3 or 4 times on a day. He specified a number, but I can't remember the number. And he said it brings the awliya to look at you. If you remember the death, you know, certain amount of times a day. But I'm not sure what it was 3, 4, 5. I couldn't quite remember.
The main point, it's you can focus on the number, but the main point is just to you know to reflect on it, to reflect on our mortality, and to reflect on, you know, at the end of each day, think about what you did during the day, and you know, is there anything that maybe I shouldn't have done? Is there anything I could have done better? Did I make the best use of today? And we all have our shortcomings and weaknesses. So, you know, it's like Allah understands that. You can ask forgiveness for them. But it's if we follow that exercise every day, without being too harsh on ourselves, you know, but just follow that exercise every day, then we will make improvements. And even if we're only making little improvements here and there, then they're improvements. You know?
Hopefully I can join you more often for Dhikr online. Perhaps it will help me as well, because it's been a bit of a difficult time, and it's like it's hard to get through, because I've never lost a parent before, so it's like the first time it's happened. It's like hard to get through it. It's just hard to get through it. It's just the circumstances it happened in. It's so difficult. But thanks a lot for your making dua as well, and keep my father in your dua as well. And inshallah, pray that Allah grant you health, prolong your life, and grant you success in this life and the hereafter as well. Inshallah. Ameen.
In case you need to get in contact with me anytime, I've just sent you my phone number.
Do you think you better send me your phone number as well, if you don't mind?
That's what I've done. I've just sent it to you in the chat box.
Oh, in the chat box, because I'm using my mobile. It's a bit. I don't know how to.
Okay.
Let me see. I've got it in the chat. Let's just see. View full transcript. Is it?
No, just chat. There's an option for chat somewhere.
I'm just trying to work this out. I can't actually see it. Actually, I've got it. I've got it. Yeah. Thanks a lot. I'll give you. I'll send you a text message so you can get my number as well, inshallah.
Awesome. Okay. Yeah. It's good to see you. And
nice.
yeah, I'm here if you need to chat anytime.
Inshallah, definitely. Take care. Nice to see you. Salam alaikum.
Nice to see you as well. Salam alaikum.
Alaikum salam.
If you find these broadcasts useful, please don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel, my Facebook channel, my Instagram channel, wherever you watch these videos. I go live every Thursday evening for the Sohbet and Dhikr, usually around 6:30 Although with the change in time over the next couple of weeks, that because of the daylight hours, that may change. But if it does, then I will always put a post on my Facebook or my Instagram to inform you of the change. But I go live on Instagram and Facebook and Zoom every Thursday. And I also broadcast Friday Reflections on a Friday as well. So please look out for that. And if you find these useful, subscribe to my channel so you can be updated. I wish you all the very best. Have a lovely evening. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah wa barakatuh.